This week on New to You, Freaks Part 1, Freaked. Hey everybody, welcome to a New to You show. This week we're starting a new topic. The topic is freaks. So everyone will bring their interpretation to it. We'll let everyone kind of explain out what, how their pick fits
how it fits that.
freaks, why their pick is a freak. But yeah,
I prefer the term normal challenged.
yeah.
Yeah.
Abnormally sound.
Abby something.
Abby normal.
Abby normal.
I am one of your hosts, John Holt. With us this week is
Julian Cage.
And Keith Vincent.
and guest return.
Adam Mater.
All right. So welcome back, Adam. It's been
Thanks,
a while.
guys. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
It's not like we took a year off or anything from recording.
Somehow, very little new has happened to me since the last episode.
Same here, man.
But how have things been? So Mr. Dream is but a dream, but you've been doing your own music.
That's right. I've been performing. I have a solo project called Fitness. That's a very flexible project. I usually bring in a lot of other singers. It's kind of working in that like Daft Punk mold where it's like, you know, every song can be someone new and it's pretty different. And yeah, it's been great. And I've been working on the label I'm on, God Mode, a Brooklyn label, has a single series where every week they release a new song. So I've had about 4 or 5 new songs come out on that.
Very
So you
cool.
can check it out on SoundCloud.
How long is that going to be happening when they do it? Every
Hopefully all year.
Wow,
Yeah, we
fun.
have like
That's
a
cool.
really big queue. I mean, there are a lot of people contributing to it, and it's really awesome. It's a lot of the spirit of the project is a lot of one-off collaborations. So it's fun kind of like making up, like I just pull like 2 people I've never worked with in that configuration, just be like, we're going to call this project this, and it's going to sound like Serge Gainsbourg. And then you just do it, and it's like, that was fun, and you know.
And
yeah.
you work on the next one.
Have you
Sounds like a
spun
lot of fun.
anything from that? Like, is there anything that you're like, oh, this really clicked? And
We'll see. It's still like, even though we've been doing it for about 2 or 3 months, it's still kind of trying a lot of combinations. But there are definitely people I'd love to work with again, and there's still actually stuff that hasn't been released yet, just because we now have a lot of stuff queued up. But so yeah, I'm excited for the world to hear it in the next couple of weeks.
The God Mode has really kind of come up in the world since the last time we spoke to you, big time.
It's true, yeah.
They've really left a mark on the scene.
Definitely, yeah. I can't remember exactly when I was here last, but I think Shamir, who's at the time a 19-year-old singer from Las Vegas, had flown out here, recorded an EP, and it kind of blew up. And got him signed on XL, the British record label.
Oh, wow. He's on a different label now. Wow.
Right, yeah. I mean, but Nick
Yeah,
Sylvester,
that's all,
God Mode
yeah.
Founder, still produces and co-writes all his stuff. So yeah, it's been amazing, and there's a lot of new. Nick has found a lot of cool new artists. Kathy Lee, who performs as Yeji, which is her, I guess, like middle name, and she's amazing. It's very like kind of like in that Portishead, like very slow,
cool, yeah.
like I don't know. I guess you'd call it like house,
Acid-
like ambient
acid-
house music or
yeah.
something like that. Yeah, and she has an amazing.
When Portishead came out, I think they used to call it acid music.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
about those kids. But yeah, that's very cool. And my friends Tyler and Tara perform as Soft Lit, and they're a boyfriend-girlfriend duo who perform as like an R&B duo. Very lascivious tunes, but they're very good. They've been doing really well too.
cool.
And there's all sorts of cool stuff. Yeah, just head to the SoundCloud.
Very cool. We'll put links to that on our website.
Yeah.
Maybe people will find it.
And Adam's been there from day one
Yeah.
with God Mode.
It's true.
Yeah.
Sweet. So what's new to you this week, John?
Oh, what's new to me? I've been listening to him for a little while, but I wanted to sort of highlight a spate of horror story podcasts that I've been listening to a lot of. Limetown.
It's called Fox News.
Fox News. It's called The Trump Report.
I'm telling you guys, wicked scary.
That's right. We learn all the horrible things Hillary has done to us. To make it, that's political.
And when I opened the door, there was just a bloody hook.
Yeah.
And with a
And
button that
so-
said, vote for Hillary.
Yeah, and-
I'm with her.
A bloody hook and socialized medicine.
Sorry, I derailed you.
But there are a few different ones. There's Black Tapes, which is a bunch of Canadian people who have okay voice acting abilities, and they kind of tell these collaborative stories or these ongoing stories about demons in Black Tapes. Or there's a spinoff called Tanis, which is like a Cthulhu style thing. And
What is Black Tapes? What was that?
Black Tapes is this one about, it's like,
Oh, it's a specific
right.
one. Okay.
And the conceit is like, hey, we went and found, like, we want to do a show
we
about
found these
people
old
and their weird
recordings.
things and what they were into. And the second one was about ghost hunters. And, oh, there's this guy who has these tapes of unexplained things. And so what would have been a show about weird people and their weird things they're into became a whole show about exploring this demon craft and the unsound.
It's like, oh, hey, there's a demon in my beer again.
Hey, look out, there's that hockey puck moved itself now.
Hey, demon, could you get out of here for a second? I'm trying to read.
Hey, demon, there's a mouse in my beer. Can I get some free beer, eh?
Wow, we are so, like, they're going to build a wall up north, too, and us Trump supporters are just going to love that.
No way, man. We love beer.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
Hockey's the best.
Well, they'll pay for the beer and hockey and wall.
Yeah, they'll have to pay for it for sure. For sure.
Yeah, okay, we'll foot the bill here.
Wait a minute, what's this wall all about?
Mood. Ah.
Wow.
So Tanis is about this Cthulian, like there's some sort of thing in the woods that is a place, but also maybe a portal to another world, which also may be a sentient elder god being, which is kind of weird and fun. Just weird, fun stuff. There's some finite ones. I don't remember if it's Limetown or one of those that it was just sort of an encapsulated sci-fi story over one season. So a lot of them have kind of like taken the serial, like, we're going to tell a story, explore this thing, like NPR format, and turned it into
Fiction,
telling
like
a
a
horror
fiction.
tale.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
How long are the stories?
I think if it's I think it's Limetown. One of those is pretty finite, maybe like 10 episodes.
Okay.
And then Tanis.
Oh, so
and
it's one
Black Tape-
story over multiple episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
yeah.
That's
so
cool.
like Tanis is now on its second season, kind of thing. So they're 10 episodes per season.
Is Tanis the word? Is that specific to anything in
it's
any
something
H.P. Lovecraft stuff that you know of?
No, I don't know that it is. It's part of the mythos they're building in this story that they've got.
It's the name of a character in the Dragonlance
That's
saga.
true. That's what it's about at the end. Well, there's also a level
Turns
of, like,
out he's a half elf
into
the whole
quests and D&D and stuff. So the guy who makes it is into that. So
time. Okay.
yeah, they overlap. It's fun and
Pretty scary.
no, it's got that like kind of like ooh creepy kind of factor.
Kind of freaky.
Yeah, a little
Yeah,
freaky.
A little freaky.
Well, there's a guy who does lore, which I might have talked about here, which is he's
Lore.
L-O-R-E. It's a horror podcast, but it's more he's a horror writer, and it's more about taking myths or sort of historical context for ghosts or like a type of goblin or whatever, and talking about where it came from. Like, gremlins. He had a whole thing on gremlins and like where does a gremlin
It's basically like a history lesson about
a
what
little
gremlins.
bit, yeah,
are.
like a mythos folktale
Yeah.
history lesson with some like creepy anecdote story at the core. So he'll like kind of tell the history, then zoom in and tell one creepy story about this witch in this Scandinavian country and how that ties in to this mythos, and tell you one creepy story that has question marks on the end, basically, like, was this real? It's fun.
That's neat.
Yeah,
Lore.
lore.
Well, so there's the Black Tapes,
Tanis,
Tanis,
Limetown,
and Limetown.
Lore. Oh, The Message is another one, which is like there's some
All right,
sound.
man. That's enough.
That's like
That's
4
enough.
things
Yeah,
that are
that's
new
a
to you
joke,
this
dude.
Yeah.
week.
Come
Come
on.
on now.
Well,
Dude,
the,
just getting
the
greedy
whole,
over
the whole
here.
bubble is a horror podcast.
Oh, okay.
if
So
you-
that's what's new to you is
if you
horror
get,
podcasts.
If you get the bug, just go
Got it.
down that rabbit hole.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah. So New to You Show is a water cooler podcast about recommendations.
No. I think we should do it like this from now on. Hey, you like stuff, right? How about you try this thing?
Why don't you take
That's
our
what our
stuff?
show's about.
Why don't you let us put our stuff in you? Is that right?
Yeah. I think that's.
Like, have you ever felt this thing?
Hey, you know what a
inside
water?
of you?
You know what a water cooler is? That's what we do. Let's just pay attention.
We'll put a water cooler inside you.
Oh man.
It'll fit.
Anyway, we're talking about freaks now. But before we get in there, I want to just say, like, freak is kind of a mean
It's-
word to say to somebody, and I don't think that
true.
when as we talk about this, we're not really, hopefully, saying like, oh, these people are freaks. We're just kind of saying these people are self-identify in one way or another.
Yeah, I think
in that way.
I think most of our picks pay tribute to freaks
Right,
or embrace freakishness.
Yeah, exactly.
Or about feeling
They
freakish.
let
Yeah,
their-
it's usually an empowering thing to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
like, I am a freak. And
I'm
like,
gonna let
right.
my freak flag
like,
fly.
Right, it's like a David Bowie thing. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
So just before we get going, I hope none of it is offensive in that way.
Right.
We'll be offensive by saying let us put our stuff in you or whatever, but
Right.
we don't want to be offensive by hurting anyone's feelings.
Right. We aren't going to punch down. at all.
Right. Yeah.
We're gonna punch up to Canada.
That's right. We'll offend them because they're nice.
Yeah,
So-
our apologies to our friends beyond the wall.
The wildlings up in Canada.
Dude, guess what though? When they pay for their wall, it's going to be so much more expensive for them because their money, when it costs,
Yeah. it's
and
much
comic
less.
books cost so much more up there.
Poor Canada.
So Jules.
Ricky Coogan, Brat Pack Sleazebag. Elijah C. Scuggs, Freak Show Tycoon, an amateur bioengineer.
I can look at a guy like Kevin Costner and see a giant peach grub.
When fate brought them together, Mr. Scuggs took an average Hollywood slime ball and made something out of him.
Oh, God! This was my good side!
20th Century Fox presents Freaked. It's about friendship.
I thought I told you to shut
Yeah, my pick this week is the 1993 movie Freaked, which was the inspiration for this theme. I was like, I want to talk about this movie. What would be a good theme for that? Freaks.
We
know.
retroactively fit a theme around Julian's pick.
Shoehorned it. So it's a very odd film, co-directed by Alex Winter and
Who you might know as Bill from Bill and Ted's Excellent
Yep.
Adventure.
Bill from Bill and Ted's, and also
Bill S. Preston Esquire.
and co-directed by help me out.
Tom Stern.
Tom Stern, thank you. Co-directed by Tom Stern,
Who
and
still produces music videos and animation today.
yes, and I had the pleasure of working with him on a strange Russian music video. He's out in L.A. Still working, and him and Alex Winter had worked on a TV show together.
The Idiot Box?
Yep, the Idiot
Oh,
Box.
I loved that show.
Yep. And Alex Winter was hot off of Bill and Ted's, and so based on the mix of those two things, he wrote this movie Freaked, which is sort of a over the top absurdist sci-fi comedy, I guess you would call it. Maybe I don't know how to describe it. And Alex Winter plays this self-involved actor who is working for this evil corporation called EES, Everything Except Shoes. They send him down to South America to help promote. I think
he's
sort
going
of
to be the spokesman for
Their chemical
the
fertilizer.
Which is-
Zyklon B kind of
yeah,
thing.
which is
or
like
whatever.
a horrible pollutant or something. But then he ends up accidentally with his best friend falling into this strange sideshow farm type thing run by Randy Quaid, the actor,
Scruggs.
who plays Scruggs, who's sort of the head of this strange circus.
And his best friend wears a Red Hot Chili Peppers shirt and
Yes.
is has a lot of weird sex jokes
Yes.
and is the older brother from Blossom.
Yeah.
yeah, it's super 90s to the max. This movie.
Whoa. Not that brother.
The not
The
Joey
other.
brother.
The not Joey brother.
the blonde.
What was his catchphrase? Wow.
No, I think he was like Blossom.
Yeah,
I think
that's
that's what
his
he
whole
did.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here he's more cheeky in this one.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, so they end up by this drug getting turned into evil freakish mutants, and essentially Randy Quaid Scruggs runs this strange circus in South America, and he creates freaks by using these drugs, and he's in cahoots with
this
the evil
chemical
corporation.
chemical that he's there to
And
try
a
to
weird science machine.
Yeah, and a
Like
weird science machine, and but the plot is totally absurd. The whole movie's very over the top, and tons of special effects, but tons of crazy costumes, lots of stuff sculpted, and yeah, they spent way too much money on this movie. It's basically what it comes down to, considering how ridiculous it is. And I'm pretty
considering how niche of a market that they must have known it would be when they made it, right?
Yeah, and it pretty much tanked, but
only by box office standards.
That's
it
right,
didn't
that's
tank
right.
as being a wonderful film.
No, not at all.
I don't know about that.
No,
I do. It's perfect.
It's a mix of it's both awesome and terrible at the same time. But
It's so bad it's good.
Yeah.
No. I would put it on the level of like Spaceballs.
No.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not.
Oh, we're gonna get some angry
It's-
emails.
I don't think it's- I don't think it's of the
Watch
level.
this movie and watch Spaceballs. They are equal in quality.
I think Spaceballs.
And I love Spaceballs.
But I think the fact that Spaceballs is riffing on something helps somehow.
Yeah, the parody thing. Helps.
But I do like that this creates this whole insane world, and everything is it's super.
It's like a
cartoonish.
cartoon. The whole
Yeah,
movie's
yeah.
a cartoon.
It's super cartoonish. Like like one of the little details I love is that the head of the Evil Corporation, he has his board is always present, but he controls all their movements using a lever.
They're like basically real life puppets. Like he has their hands put up to like marionettes.
so he makes them clap and
Yeah.
vote and all that stuff. And-
Watching it through, I mean, each time I watch it, it's very LA. Like,
Yes.
it seems like they pulled in a lot of favors, but they probably paid for a lot of people from what you're saying
Yes.
from the budget.
Yeah, the budget was $12 million. A lot of that went to special effects. $1 million of it went to Keanu Reeves, who had an uncredited role as Dog Boy, who's a werewolf freak character. There's also an amazing title sequence and some pretty good music that I think
Well, it's
was
Henry
written for
Rollins.
the movie. Yeah,
Henry Rollins wrote the
Yeah.
opening title
Yeah.
scenes.
Yeah, but I guess the Butthole Surfers did a bunch of the
They
music
did a
for
bunch
it.
of music
yeah.
too,
yeah, yeah.
And there's Red Hot Chili Peppers songs on there. Alex Winter, I think he directed a couple of Red Hot Chili Peppers videos back in the day. I know he was in the video before Blood Sugar Sex Magic came out. The song If You See Me Getting High, it's called Knock Me Down, I believe.
Yeah.
Alex Winter is definitely in the video, and I'm pretty sure he directed it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So he was like very active in that scene.
yeah, I feel like he had his hot moment, and I feel like this movie probably killed it, unfortunately.
Well, it seems like he had,
Which is sad,
after
'cause
Bill
he
and Ted's,
really-
he had a lot of political, or not political, what would it be,
Clout.
Clout,
Yeah.
some sort of celebrity weight, and was in those circles, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a lot of favors, and this is one of those movies where the screenwriting was more like buddies coming together and putting gags on paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Without
yeah.
much editing. They just they had names, and they had names attached, and that's probably how they got the capital
Yeah.
for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm hoping they had fun making the movie. It seems
Yeah.
like they probably did.
It
'cause
was
it's
just
ridiculous.
it's just as good a movie as like a lot of movies. I mean, and you guys are talking about this thing as if it was somebody's project in the backyard. It's a great movie.
Well, it's I mean I guess it's unusual for that
Randy
type of movie.
Quaid is a comedic
Randy- Yeah.
powerhouse in this movie.
But the thing is, Randy Quaid, his character, he shows his weight as an actor against it's pretty rough. Alex Winter's performance and the Blossom guy's performance is raw, and the girl character in this they're also just very over
it's
the
like-
top and kind of poor. Whereas Randy Quaid is just awesome.
Yeah,
He's
he
a great
sells it.
comedic
Yeah.
actor. He really nails it.
Yes. Yeah, and there is they try a lot of crazy stuff in this movie that I really appreciate, and there are some great comedic moments that I really enjoy in this movie.
Oh yeah.
My favorite scene, which I know I linked to for you guys, is the what I would call the styrofoam cup scene, where essentially I guess I don't want to spoil, but it's not really. You can't really spoil this movie, right?
Right. Well, there's a heist moment.
Yeah, there's a heist moment where they're really building up the tension that essentially the whole gang of freaks is trying to free themselves, and they're sneaking into the lab, and they keep creating over and over this, building the tension, the scenario that he almost hears them, but no, it's the TV that's on really loud,
Right.
and they build it up and they build it up, and just lots of outrageous sound is made, but he never hears them, and then all of a sudden somebody knocks a styrofoam cup off a table, and Randy Quaid turns and he's like, styrofoam cup. And I don't know why, but that tickles me to death every time I see
the
it.
delivery was perfect.
Yeah, the delivery and the joke's so absurd. And, But that's a lot of the kind of comedy you can expect from this movie. my other favorite are the Rastafaris.
Yeah.
They're kind of
Which
the
were awesome costumes as well.
Yes,
With
yeah.
those like weird,
Weird-
their
yes,
pupils
pupil mouths.
talk.
Yeah, so they're they're characters that are basically eyeballs with arms and legs, and who are Rastas.
who are there to keep their eye on everything.
Yeah.
And they're the kind of the
And
de
they
facto
have like
guards.
Uzis or submachine
Yeah,
guns,
yeah.
right?
So they're the enforcers. So if anybody tries to escape, they come out and are like, "Hey, man, hey!" And they have high pitched voices, and,
And I
it's
think
so
they have like a
ridiculous.
big joint in one
Yeah.
scene too.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah, and they're bloodshot
Yeah.
eyes, and
They wear the like knit orange or green, red, black, yellow.
Yeah.
yeah,
hat, too.
yeah. And all the fact that all the effects are practical, all the costumes are practical, it adds to the cartoonishness, and there's a lot of like fun, creative stuff going on there as well. But yeah, unfortunately, it's at the service of like a very stupid script. But if you
It's
kind of
not stupid. It's I
It's
will defend it.
indulgent.
It's not stupid. It's not indulgent. It's juvenile.
Keith
And
is-
Yeah,
there's
it's
there's a
juvenile.
place
It's
there's a
juvenile.
place for juvenile. There
It's
really
true.
is.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I gotta say that I enjoy it.
And
Yeah.
they commit 100% to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the and that's the distinction that I don't want people to think that we're saying, oh, this is crappy. I think this is, especially for the time, it's like right on the zeitgeist, and I really wish they would make movies like this still.
Yeah.
That where they're not. It's not a big commitment. It's a zany thing. It's like a Pee-wee's Big Adventure-esque movie. Pee-wee's Big Adventure is way better than this, but it's a movie that doesn't get made right now, and I think that's a shame. Like the Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Freaked. I would say, what are some other ones?
Scary movies.
Well, no, scary movies are straight up farces too. That's kind of like Zucker
Like
Abrams.
Naked Gun. Oh, you mean like okay.
Yeah, so I think the Zucker Abrams type of movie, which is like
Top Secret.
Naked Gun.
Yeah, they're all parodies.
Yeah.
Very like
yeah.
1-to-1.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But this is just a straight up zany comedy from the start with, people take a chance and
Yeah.
it's
But-
perfect. It's perfect if you're in the 9th grade.
How do you think it compares to Gremlins 2?
Gremlins 2 is a masterpiece. That's
Yeah,
a
Gremlins
different
2 is
thing.
really good.
Yeah.
But I think part of what I love about this movie is just that it was made. That like a bunch of grown-ups got together,
Yeah.
spent a long time, worked really hard, spent $12 million, and made this ridiculous juvenile movie. And I kind of find that charming.
Killer Tomatoes, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. These types of movies that
I think the difference there is they probably didn't spend $12 million on those movies.
right, but they probably spent $6.
I think
Maybe.
the closest comparison might be like Flesh Gordon, where they may not have paid for the guys, but you had a bunch of like SFX guys basically
Yeah.
between jobs that favored out a pretty expensive movie for some weird sex
I don't think
jokes.
it doesn't sound like there were any favors in this. It
Oh,
sounds
no,
like
that's what
they
I'm
spent
saying.
the money
I'm
on
saying
it.
in Flesh Gordon it was favored
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
where in this they just paid for it all.
Yeah.
But again, I think that's what makes it unique is it's not a parody. Like
Yeah.
it's rare to see a movie that juvenile, that ridiculous, that over the top. That's not a parody.
It's like a
hard to think
or
of.
Freddy Got Fingered.
that's or like an Ernest movie. Ernest Goes to Camp or Ernest Scared Stupid.
The
I mean,
importance of being earnest.
yeah. Which is the best of the Ernest movies.
The unbearable
Vern is the
lightness
best
of
in
Ernest.
it. Yeah. I love this movie, and I love the Idiot Box. I don't know if you guys ever saw that, but these are just perfect. Like when MTV was kind of creating stuff, I feel like, or like
In
when
its liquid
MTV
television
was
phase.
yeah, Liquid Television, Idiot Box, like
and they
the
kind
State.
They embraced
These were
the
all this-
weird and the
yeah.
counterculture and the like. Yeah, you're
and
excited.
fueled it and
Yeah.
fueled it.
Yeah.
That was a big force to have behind you, and it really brings together the Alex Winters with all these musical guys who maybe a lot of our audience might not remember the Butthole Surfers, but they're a great band to have doing your music. It's really cool, and for this to have all come together, I think is just a neat little magical thing that I sadly don't see that much right now. And maybe I'm too old. Maybe it is happening for
We're
people
just not
who
paying
are,
attention.
yeah.
Or it's happening on a smaller level on YouTube kind of thing,
Right.
The what was I going to say in this? Oh, it's interesting. Alex Winters too. He's still going strong. Like
They're making a Bill and Ted movie.
and they just kickstarted a Frank Zappa documentary that he's directing.
Cool.
So he's been doing a lot more like behind the camera stuff.
Yeah.
Alex Winters.
He always was. He was always doing that as well as he might have. Did he direct the second Bill and Ted? He might have.
All right.
Yeah, I think to me, it's kind of odd that he was in front of the camera. Like, I don't find him to be a great actor or that charismatic. Like, it's kind of odd to me that he ended up in front of the camera.
For this one, yeah.
But even in Bill and Ted, I mean, I guess he was fine in Bill and Ted's, but it could have been anybody almost. Like, right? You know what I mean? Like,
You think that, but
I guess so.
But
I
it's
guess
not
so.
the case.
That's true.
Could have been Sean Penn, who I thought he was for most of my childhood.
That would have been great. Yeah, at that time he was.
Well, he played that character in Fast Times
Fast
at
Times.
Ridgemont
Right,
High.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it confused me until like 2 years ago, maybe. I would like Sean Penn now to play that character in the reboot.
That would be refreshing.
I apologize. Peter Hewitt directed Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. So I was totally wrong on that.
So, Murder, did you get to watch Freaked?
I didn't, but I watched the trailer, which was great and super long for a trailer.
Yes.
And I watched the scene you sent and read the Wikipedia page. And
It's enough to get a picture, an
Yeah.
accurate picture of the movie.
yeah, those sort of movies I'm nostalgic for because I remember when I was like a kid visiting my grandmother's house, and we didn't have cable in my house, and she had one of those boxes with like a bunch, what at the time felt like endless amount of channels.
Oh yeah.
So there'd always be like, what's it called? Like Mom and Dad Save the World or something.
Oh, that's another
Like,
movie
all
like
the-
that.
That was
yes,
Keith-
I
that
love
was
that
Keith's
movie.
favorite
No, this is
movie
like
for a while.
I love that movie.
This is like 1988 to like 95, like
Yeah.
span where like
Yeah.
I was just bored at grandmother's house and just watched so many movies, like Tremors, all the Tremors
Yeah.
movies. I'm trying to think what else is in that genre. I mean, I'm sure like Gremlins 2 and stuff.
Earth
like
Girls
that.
Are Easy.
Oh yeah, totally. Buckaroo Banzai. Was probably
Grandma
one.
wouldn't have Earth Girls Are Easy.
Oh, well, Cable would.
That's right.
Stop or My Mom Will Shoot or something.
Yeah.
Is that a
Yeah.
movie? Or yeah,
Estelle Getty and Sylvester Stallone.
yeah.
But another character I love in the film is Stewie.
yeah.
He's like a
Yes.
so
He's a super fan.
yeah, he's like Alex Winters, super fan.
So Alex Winters is like a famous actor in it, and,
Yeah.
and Stewie is his like kind of stalker fan, but he's a little kid.
Yeah, and he kind of looks like the kid from Mad Magazine, maybe.
Yeah.
He has giant ears, big bug teeth. I think
Like
they
Alfred-
Alfred E.
prosthetics.
Newman.
yeah, they
are.
added
Yeah.
prosthetics, and he has this great like squeaky voice, and he's like, yeah, he's really charming and really funny. I think him and Randy Quaid are like the best parts of
Yes,
that.
Stewie's definitely like a scene stealer.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and actually, I read that like a double like there's a part where he gets like a lot of horrible things happen to him, and he gets thrown through a glass door
Like
at one
multiple
point.
times.
Yeah, but it was actually a double, but he got injured doing that. I was like,
The
that's so
double
sad.
did?
Yeah. So sad.
They were going through doubles like goldfish. I guess.
Because he would do the stunt and just lay there.
Yeah.
Just like face down. Like not moving.
Yeah, the first one is like he gets dropped out of an airplane.
Well, this is the magic of this kind of a movie that I love is that they have the shot of this farm with a big giant haystack, and you're like, oh, he's gonna land in that, and he lands right next to it.
And you see his body actually fall and hit the ground hard. And then he gets up, he's like, hey, I'm okay. And then something hits him on the head. It's like, yeah, it's very slapstick.
Very, very like old cartoony.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of gags that like are expensive throwaway gags
Yes.
too, where they'll just have like cowboy is the cowman character who has like a Texas accent and a cowboy hat,
And he's a
he'll just
cow.
kind of like be a cow. He's a total background character with
Yeah.
like great animatronics.
He's not a background character. He inspires
He's
our
one of the
main
freaks.
character.
He's
He
one of
gives
the
him the
team.
pep talk.
He's a background. He's just like he's like
He has a few
he
lines.
has like 4 gags and that's it.
He inspires him.
yeah.
Let him into your heart.
Hard.
But don't forget Bobcat Goldthwait is
Oh,
in
God.
this.
Yeah,
as
he plays a sock puppet man.
Yeah,
His head is a sock
head
puppet.
Is a sock puppet. There's a point where the sock comes off and it's just a hand.
And everyone's
He's
like
got a hand for a
disappointed
head.
somehow.
They're like, oh, he's a fraud.
He's a fraud. It's just
He's
a
been a
hand
puppet
under
the whole
there.
time.
And Randy Quaid's like, puppeteering is an art.
Yeah, Randy Quaid really sells a lot of this
Yeah.
movie.
It's great. There's a big monster fight at the end, and they're straight out of the 70s
Big
metal
Daddy
magazine,
Roth,
the Big
yeah.
Daddy Roth,
Yeah.
bugged out eye,
Yeah.
huge teeth, hot rod monsters.
It reminded me of the creature from Big Trouble in Little China. That
Yeah.
guy, that level of prosthetics and puppetry.
Well, too, the prosthetics on Alex Winters, he gets turned into a half man, half monster for a better part of the film.
Yeah.
And he has this lip, this giant lip that works pretty well. I mean, I don't know. It's probably a gag,
I bet you it was a remote control servo thing.
but
They were
basically-
doing that in the Henson stuff all
Yeah.
at that
But
time.
basically, his mouth had to be open all the
Yeah.
time.
But it was it was well synced. And
Yeah.
They
And
did
he-
a lot of work to
and
it.
he was always, and I also read that he was drooling a lot, and that was often real drool because his mouth
He
was
couldn't
just
close his
open all the
mouth.
time.
Open to the side.
I hope they had people spraying his mouth because if you had to, long shooting
Dry
days
it out.
Yeah.
with your mouth
But yeah,
held open the whole time.
that everyone involved in the cast had to wear these there's one guy who's a nose man and just has a giant nose on his face.
And he's another story. He doesn't do very much.
No.
oh, he's
no.
awesome. He's
there's
hilarious.
a guy who's a human worm and it's basically
Oh,
a
he's
face and a
great,
worm body. They must have just been in these uncomfortable prosthetics all day long. There's two people who get fused together and
that's
were
the Blossom. and-
share a body or whatever.
the Christy Swanson wannabe character
Yeah.
in the
That's the other
discount Christy Swanson.
That just reminds me when they get fused, when they get turned into monsters.
the
There's a
claymation.
there's a crazy claymation transformation sequence, which is totally outrageous and
And it has
hilarious.
all these Harryhausen and Willis O'Brien tributes within that too.
Yeah, a lot of
Like
references.
the
There's a
one-
Gumby
the
ref,
Cyclops,
Gumby's
yeah.
in there, and
and a masturbation joke.
yeah, of course.
It's clay, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what else you gonna do?
And there's some weird ones they're tunneling under the ground and they just look out over the city and they're like, it's the lost city. And then a slide
slideshow
passes
goes
and
up.
it's it's Yosemite or whatever. And it slides it's my bar mitzvah.
There's a lot of those gags that they just go all in on that I really like a lot.
Yeah,
That's one of
yeah.
my favorites from the movie.
Those kinds of gags are right out of Airplane and stuff like
Yeah,
that, which
yeah.
which I love, or
Yeah.
Top Secret,
Yeah.
Tom Stern's cameo is a really great setup too.
Yep.
He's the milkman, and it's so it's TARDIS Randy Quaid puts all the freaks in this outhouse.
Yeah.
And you open the outhouse and it's this massive barn inside, and he's like, I got to put a shitter in there one of these days. Or
No, but the gag is the milkman comes in and he's gonna escape using the milkman's clothes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he knocks out the milkman, strips him nude, and he's running around as the milkman for a little while. And he turns around at one point, and all the other people, all the other freaks, are dressed like milkmen too.
And they're like, oh, no one would ever believe that there are 13 milkmen. We got to get rid of you. There can only be 12.
Randy Quaid looks out and he's sees them fighting. He's like, look at all them milkmen.
He said, of course they'd be fighting. There's so many of them.
All right, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, I told you.
It's definitely better when you're not watching it.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good movie to play in the background and check in on once in a while.
Incorrect.
And then to look over and be like, oh yeah, that's so funny.
No. It's a good movie I find it so inspiring because you can look at this stuff and there's such a tactile quality to everything that you're like, oh, I want to be the guy that builds that machine that, I want to be I want to make that giant prosthetic creature head. It's just I just love that stuff.
Is there any CGI in the movie? Or
No. This is this
kind
would
of
have been
Total Recall style.
This would have been exactly. It would have been very early for CGI, but they also aren't trying at all to be realistic.
Yeah.
Right,
Not at
right.
all. They're just this is ridiculous and cartoony. I think they were really into the tactile quality of everything.
Very practical.
Yeah. And it's just silly. It's just a silly movie, but you should check it out. I think the whole thing's currently on YouTube with Spanish subtitles, in case that helps you out. And
watch a little bit of it. If you like it, then you can pay money for it.
yeah. And last night I was working late and got to watch it again, and it got me through the night. I think I had to stay late for a deadline, and it was a fun thing to carry me through. So.
Great movie. And I mean, if you're going to go down that rabbit hole, you may as well watch Idiot Box, too. Old episodes of that
Yep,
from MTV.
check that out.
It's very funny. Speaking of, like, having to hold your mouth open for a whole... They used to have this sketch called Lockjaw. It was, like, supposed to be like a hard-boiled detective show, but it was a guy who had lockjaw from stepping on a rusty nail. And so every episode would be like, "Ah!" He'd be like holding the gun and trying to tell the guy to freeze, and they wouldn't. He'd have to shoot him.
And Tom Stern also directed another show that was like all like monkeys. It was like monkeys in clothing.
Oh
and
wait, was that it was like the Spy,
just a bunch of monkeys.
right? It's
Chimps, man. Chimps.
Chimps. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
But yeah, they
No
would be,
offense.
but it was the like, hey. You'll
Yeah,
never
yeah.
find like
Yeah,
and they just
yeah.
have him like talking into a banana or something. But it
Yeah.
was the Get Smart kind of style.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
storytelling,
exactly.
but like with apes or
So-
with chimpanzees.
So anyway, if you get a taste of Freaked and you love it, there's plenty more of that style of comedy out there. Freaked, check it out.
Yeah, Freak's a good one.
I think there's not too much more to say.
1993. It's
Yep.
on the DVD is all right. I
Yeah.
have had it. I don't remember what the extra. She said there was really good commentary.
Well, I don't know if it's good, but Alex Winters and talks on it and gives you a lot of behind the scenes info.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think it's probably fun to hear a little bit more about the behind the scenes on that. Yeah, like one of the tidbits they talk about is that like Mr. T plays the bearded lady in it, and again, just he's kind of backdrop for most of it. But they said that he kind of freaked out or something and left for the last like 3 days of the shoot or something. So they had to have like a scab Mr. T for background and stuff like that. So lots of fun probably background tidbits on the behind the scenes.
Also, not super precious about like
No.
there's like some mean jokes here and there towards like people like freak people and stuff.
Yeah,
and like the Mr. T trans stuff. Like people just weren't quite up yet on stuff.
No.
There's
And
some like
again,
gay
it's-
jokes and
it's
stuff.
also
That
ve-
happens with 90s comedy.
Yeah.
It's also
and,
very
anything before the 90s.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
also very juvenile.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it just has that sensibility. Like, I mean, because it was a little bit later, but like Beavis and Butthead would have loved this movie probably.
Yeah.
Be like, the whole time.
But yeah, so there are a few
Beavis.
things to kind of like forgive, but nothing too egregious, I don't think.
Yeah, no, it's not too terrible. But it's just also the context is so ridiculous
Right.
that it's not like you're going to take any of it seriously. I don't think anyone would take it seriously. So,
All right.
Come on, my own, I see you staring at me. I wanna check your eyes so I can see what you see.
To such a question, there are many possible answers, such as hard work.
Feel I'm alone in this whole of existence. I know it takes time, but I'm losing my persistence. The distance is too far.
that's it. And that's my pick.
Julian's
Freaked.
pick. Freaked.
All right.
Good pick, buddy. I'm glad we got to talk about that gem.
Me too. It was worth a topic.
Yeah. Now we have to figure out what else we're going to talk about. We got three
Oh,
more episodes.
Whatever.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah, it's on us now.
I'll just take a nap.
All right. So that was Freaked. That's the first in our Freaks topic. Next week, we're going to have another topic. It's going to be
I think we're going to talk about Slipknot.
and new metal and corn.
New metal.
Or Freak on a Leash in particular. We're
Freak on
gonna
a
start
Leash.
there and kind of umbrella out to the new metal universe.
You guys
the-
are.
Yeah.
Entire
You
art
guys think
form.
we're joking, but tune in next week.
For new metal.
new to you
Umlaut.
metal.
Freak on a leash.
I was one of your hosts, John Holt. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Joho.
I was your other host, Julian Cage. You can find me on Twitter at BeautifulJules.
I was your other host, Keith Vincent. You can find some of my artwork on earthlingkeith.tumblr.com.
Or you can find them at Zarkon BES.
No, on Rastafari's.
Rastafari's.
Rastafari's on Tumblr.
And Snapchat.
Tinder.
Snapchat and
Tinder.
yeah.
Tinder. How about
Murder,
you,
where
Adam?
can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at it's a really annoying handle at LLL Mater.
And where can they find your musics?
They can find the musics on my SoundCloud. That is D Fitness, like Die Fitness, like the German word for the. And yeah.
All right.
Well, you might want to check our show notes for that to
Yeah,
get those
yeah.
links,
We'll put-
because even spelling Maters
And-
could be
and
difficult for
what's
some
the
of
story
us.
with the LLL? Murder LLL.
I think my last name was taken, so I just used like an old AIM trick where you just put a bunch of letters before and after. So
bracketing
it's like
it.
brackets it. Yeah.
Nice.
Very cool. So
It's not cool at all.
Yeah, you should have gone for Murder 69.
Well, yeah, 42069, but someone probably had that too. So
damn.
all right. So you can find out more about Murder 69 on our website.
At LOL Murder LOL Twitter.
On newtoyoushow.com. You can find links to this content and the show stuff and all kinds of good stuff. You can follow us on Twitter at newtoyoushow. We may or may not have a Facebook page. We don't. It's private. You could get in if you ask real nice.
Well, and big news. Google Play is really
It
live with the
is.
podcast.
It's
We
alive.
really
That's
are
right.
on Google Play.
We are.
I was
It's
a little
true.
bit sad when I heard the news because we don't have that running joke anymore.
Yeah,
But
the
hey.
Google Play hosts podcasts now, and they didn't for a while, and we just kept talking about how they will post us one day. But now they do.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Bummer.
So you should rate and review us on iTunes. You should subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting app. And yeah, get the word out there. It may not be new, but maybe it was new to you.
Explosion sound.
New metal.
Moving this pitiful life is all about the music. 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 This pitiful life is all about the music.
Be with him together forever, without the limitation of time ever again. So the second coming of the Lord is not dead. They're two separate entities.